Hello and welcome to Mink. Today I'm going to walk you through what Mink does and how to use it to monitor the pulse of any team, organization, or business. Mink allows organizations to monitor and sample workplace contentment and motivation with easy-to-set-up surveys that keep you engaged with your employees. We're going to start on the homepage and fill out the new user form here. Once we've completed the first page, we can see that Mink starts us off with three key areas: growth, happiness, and productivity. We can also see that you can add a new custom category if you like. The growth test evaluates how the employee feels about his or her growth path in your organization. Happiness will test for the overall happiness of a team member. Here you can create categories or add them later. So just to show you, I will add a category called Recommendation. This will show you how likely a team member is to recommend a person to work at your organization. You'll know how to label each one of your teams based on your company's structure. For instance, sales, creative, administration, and then invite members to the team. If you have a lot of members, contact hello@mink.io and we will upload them for you. Now, Mink has taken us to the dashboard view. Since we're new, we need to create our first report. I'm going to click over here on the Reports tab, and if we scroll down, we can see that Mink has pre-built suggested reports. The Mink test is designed to take the overall pulse of your organization, to quickly get feedback, isolate issues, and empower your teams with this 5-question survey. The weekly check-in is the perfect weekly report to send to your team to receive feedback on how they're doing, where they're stuck, and any problems they need solving. It takes less than 3 minutes to answer. The new hire is a report for you to use with a new team member in their first 30 days with your organization to assess how they're doing. The culture check is a gauge on what people are feeling. And finally, an employee exit survey to find out what led the employee to seek opportunity elsewhere so you can make changes in areas to make sure this doesn't happen again. We're going to start with the Mink test. The Mink test is the best first report to send out and is designed to get the overall pulse of your organization. You can see on the left side of the screen here, we have 2 tabs, Options and Questions. The Options tab allows you to customize how the report will be laid out. The report greeting or description here can be customized. You can see that you can select what teams will be receiving the test and the expiration of the test and how frequently it gets sent out. Also, this is where you can set the privacy settings of the report if you want your employees to be able to take the test anonymously. Now, click the Questions tab here. We can now customize each question layout and answer criteria by clicking these drop-down tabs here. By clicking on the question type selector, we can see that you can choose scale, allowing the test taker to answer in a range from 1 to 5, or a yes or no answer, or have the answer be in a text-only format. We then move to the category section to determine what area we think the question pertains to. This will be useful for randomly assessing people's overall feelings as time goes on and more data is collected. You can view the categories from the dashboard view to quickly assess how team members feel about each category you are testing for. For scale questions, there is a lot of customization. You can choose to make a text response mandatory or make it mandatory when a team member answers a 1 so that you can get more information on why they are so upset. Or require a text response when they answer a 5, which means they agree very strongly. This extra text info can help you get insight into how to replicate why this team member is so happy. You can see that when we change the question type away from scale, then the layout changes. A text-only answer is just that, and yes or no is also fairly straightforward without having to assign a category. We can also decide whether or not to require the employee to answer the question, and so on. We can also add a new question here at the bottom. Now, before we save the report here, we want to go back up to the top and click Preview Report to see what the employees will actually be seeing when they get the test. The layout and timing of the test will be listed here, and when we click Preview from this page, we can see the actual test as an employee. When we're ready to send the report, press this Send Now button here and your scheduled report will be sent at the predetermined time. Okay, after sending out your surveys, we are going to see what it looks like when you have received responses from your team members. After we've logged back in, we start at the admin dashboard. From this page, we can see an overall assessment of your company across all of your teams. You can see our overall Mink score, which is a scale from 1 to 100 and tells you the overall pulse of your organization here and recent activity and notifications. The company overview here and the category breakdown here. You can use the category breakdown to see the questions associated within each section. Click on Mentor. You can see the overall responses, both positive and negative, as well as see tracking over time. You can see that using this Change Team button, we can drill down and get a snapshot of individual teams and departments. We're going to jump into sales here, and we can see how the Mink score changes. We also see each team member and how they are overall. If we click on each of their pictures, we go deeper and even see how they answered each question. Next, we're going to use the tab at the top of the page to review the report section. This is the real power of Mink and organizes data in a way like never before. The report section gives us both an overview of each survey and how team members answered each question. You can click into each question and individually respond to an employee simply by clicking on their profile image and responding to them directly from this page. The team member will then be notified and can respond back, which can quickly resolve problems, issues, and celebrate wins. Now we're going to click on the Teams tab at the top of the page. This is where you can jump into individual teams and post highlights and tag people to give recognition for work well done. The Employees tab is where you are going to add and invite your employees as you build your organization's Mink profile over time. It's also a great spot to review team members' responses and highlights. It provides a detailed snapshot of their well-being. The last area to touch is the Settings tab, and that is where you can define your organization's mission statement, upload your company logo, and define administrator access and set the time zone for your company for report purposes. There are 3 levels of user types: an admin, which has access to everyone's data, a team manager, which has access to the team's department's data, and lastly, a team member who only has access to his own profile. Overall, I think you can see how Mink easily lets you keep in touch with your employees and gives a valuable voice to your employees. Based off organizations that are using Mink, we have an 82% response rate on surveys, which is very high. Mink is a powerful tool to keep your organization moving forward and growing in a positive direction. Contact hello@mink.io for any questions you may have or just to chat. Thanks.